Hello, today we are going to go over the properties of matter test review answer key. First section is vocabulary. Number 1. Matter that has a definite volume but no definite shape is liquid. Takes the shape of its container, don't forget that. Number 2, a mixture in which one substance dissolves in another is a solution. Number 3, the ability of a substance to dissolve in another is called soluble. Matter without a definite volume or shape is called gas. 5, a quality or trait that can be used to identify substances is known as a physical property. Alright, we're going to go to the measurement section, and we're going to use this picture or diagram to answer number 6. Number 6, what is the mass of the apple? The answer is 40 grams. So over here you have a blank on the apple and you have 10 gram weight. Over here you have a 50 gram weight. This is a pan balance and the balance is balanced. So you need to take the 50 and subtract 10 to find out what the mass of the apple is. 50 minus 10 is 40. What would the mass of this simple apple be? What would the mass of the same apple be on the moon? Remember that mass does not change, so the mass would be 40 grams. Weight changes, but mass does not. What kind of balance is the apple sitting on? This is a pan balance. What other type of balance do we use in science? We use a triple beam balance. States of matter. Number 7, list the 3 states of matter, that is solid, liquid, and gas. Number 8, solid plus heat equals liquid. This is an example of melting. Number 9, when you add liquid and heat together, that creates a gas. This is an example of evaporation. Number 10, when we cool down gas and we add gas plus cooled, that equals a liquid. That is an example of condensation. Liquid plus freezing cold equals a solid. This is an example of freezing. Number 12 says, draw the molecules of each state of matter in the boxes below. Remember that solid has particles that are very tightly packed together. Liquids are particles are a little bit spread out, not as packed. And gas, they are spread further out and they are moving very, very fast. Physical properties. Number 13, list 7 physical properties we can use to classify objects. We used these in our stations at the beginning of this unit. It's physical state, mass, magnetism, solubility, relative density, conduct, and insulate. Number 14, list 2 materials that magnets are attracted to. Iron and steel are the examples I have. If you have another metal listed, that is fine. Just make sure that you have iron as one for sure. 15. Explain the difference between mass and weight. Mass is the amount of matter in an object, and mass stays the same. Weight depends on gravity and changes depending on the amount of gravity that is pulling on it. That's a big difference. Mass is the amount of matter and does not change. Weight depends on gravity and changes depending on the amount of gravitational pull that is on the object. Conductors. Number 16. Let's talk about conductors and insulators on 16 and 17. Conductors allow energy to flow through. An example of a thermal conductor is metal. It heats up, it gets hot. Another good one is glass. If you are not sure if your answer is correct, ask your teacher. Number 17, insulators do not allow energy to flow through. An example of an insulator is styrofoam. Another is rubber, and another is wood. One of the other ones we tested was plastic. That's another good example of an insulator. It does not allow energy to flow through. Number 18, let's talk about density. Look at the density tower. Over here is the density tower. It has objects and liquids in it. What is less dense than the oil? So look at the oil, and right here you have a popsicle stick floating on the oil. So oil is less is more dense than the popsicle stick. So what is less dense than the oil? That is the popsicle stick. What is more dense than the corn syrup? Corn syrup is here. So you need to pick the thing that falls to the very, very bottom of the cup. That would be the paper clip. The paper clip is more dense than corn syrup. What is more dense than the crayon and less dense than the pasta? So the crayon is here and the pasta is here. So in between these two objects is the water. Water is more dense than the crayon and less dense than the pasta. More dense means the object will sink, and less dense means the object will float. Mixtures and solutions. Number 19. Your mom asks you to help with dinner tonight, and you decide to make a salad. The salad, once put together, would be an example of a mixture. Number 20, will these physical properties of the salad change when the ingredients are all mixed together? No, the physical properties will stay the same. 21, I have some sugar and warm water. If I combine these two ingredients, I will make sugar water. This is an example of a special kind of mixture called a solution. 22, tell me what happens to each of the ingredients, sugar and warm water, when they are combined. Use the words dissolve and soluble in your description. The sugar is soluble in water because the sugar dissolved. That's a good example of my sentence using dissolve and soluble. The words dissolve and soluble. If you have a different sentence, make sure that you use soluble and dissolve and talk to your teacher about it. Number 23, explain how you could separate sand, sugar, and water. Include the tools you would need. Stir together the sand, sugar, and water. Pour the mixture through a filter. The sand will stay in the filter. The water with the dissolved sugar will flow through. Heat the water and sugar until the water evaporates, leaving behind the sugar. So you will need, the tools you would need would be a filter and probably a beaker and a hot plate and a pan. Practice questions. Number 1. The diagram shows 3 graduated cylinders, each containing 2 liquids. So we have oil and water, soap and syrup, water and soap. Which statement is true? A, the liquid with the greatest density is syrup. Because syrup is on the bottom, soap is above syrup. Soap is below the water, so water should be in the middle, and then you should have oil. You have 4 liquids. So it should go oil, water, soap, and syrup. If it was me, I would go over to the side and draw a new graduated cylinder and put the liquids in order that they rest, so that you see one graduated cylinder answer this question. Which statement is true? A liquid with the greatest density is syrup. Number 2, at room temperature, helium does not have a definite shape or volume. Which state is it in? Helium is a gas. Number 3, which physical property determines whether one substance will sink or float in another substance? The answer is relative density. Number 4, which term means a combination of 2 or more substances that maintain their identities? That would be B, a mixture. Number 5, Carlton adds salt to water. He says that the salt must have become a different substance because it disappeared. Which of the following could you do to support or contradict Carlton's claim? A, add the same amount of salt to different amounts of water to see if that happens again. B, add different amounts of salt to the same amount of water and see if it disappears. C, let the water evaporate to show that the salt is still present. Or D, heat the salt water to see if it boils. The correct answer is C, let the water evaporate to show that the salt is still present. Number 6, Sarah wanted to classify substances based on a certain physical property. She set up 5 beakers of water. She chose 5 substances to test. She added 1 substance to each beaker, stirred, and observed. She noted whether the added substance could still be seen. What physical property was Sarah testing? That is solubility. Number 7. Which of the following is a property of both liquids and solids, but not gases? C. Has a definite volume. Gas does not have a definite volume, but liquids and solids do. Number 8. Which type of matter is classified as a conductor or thermal energy? Which type of matter is classified as a conductor of thermal energy? The answer is A. Metal. Wood, cotton, and plastic are all insulators. Number 9. A student makes a table to classify substances as solid, liquids, or gases. The student's table is shown below. Classifying substances: substance are chocolate milk, unleaded gasoline, piece of yarn, and grain of sand. So if it was me, I would go in here and label if it's solid, liquid, or gas. How many substances listed can be classified as a solid, liquid, or gases? There are 2 solids, 2 liquids, and 0 gases. So the answer is D. Chocolate milk and unleaded gasoline are liquids. Piece of yarn and grain of sand are both solids. Number 10. Students add 250 milliliters of hot water to 25 grams of sugar and record the time it takes the sugar to dissolve. Next, they add 250 milliliters of room temperature water to 25 milligrams of sugar and record the time it takes the sugar to dissolve. What is the variable in this investigation? What is the thing that we change? The student changed C, the temperature of the water. Number 11. A student stirs lemon juice and sugar into a glass of water. Why is the drink considered a solution? The sugar dissolves into the lemon juice and it is not easily separated. If you have something similar, check with your teacher. Remember that our answers could mean the same thing but written in a different way. Thank you for listening. Make sure that you have the correct answers and study for your test tonight.